they're taking Chem 1 first semester, they may not be able to get the second semester of Chem 1.
Well,
now,
we're not going to do that.
Only understand, I'm hearing this from a 17-year-old.
No, I
but that was...
Which may not be factual.
No, I can clarify that there are some of our more higher level classes that won't be offered second semester, that the students may or may not know that at this time. And quite frankly, that happens all the time at the college level. You know, the class didn't make.
Sure.
The only difference is our college kids are thrilled to be on the 5-year plan and just wait around for it to come back. So, yeah there's some very distressed, high-performing high school students out there right now. And
we met with high school principals yesterday. Let me assure you all that they are very aware at Choctaw, Niceville, and Crestview that we are building our master schedule always in the future, as I always did for Walton, on the number of students who are registered, not projected. I don't know why that happened, but they are definitely on track. They knew going into the school year they had overprojected. They thought the kids would show up, should have closed the classes then. The fact it's happening now, I regret for the same reason you do.
But that's not what's created. But that's not what's created the only problem. The problem is when I went back and looked at Niceville and Fort Walton, and there was 90 more offerings, as I pointed out to you. Well, see, the problem is everybody, and Mr. Nobles and I talked about this, is see, if you go back and look at one point, less than 4 years ago, Niceville High School had 2,400 kids. Well, you understand the problem is 3 years later, we still offering the same number of classes that we were doing when they had 2,400 that they could pay for through FTE, and unfortunately, it was business as usual, even though they knew, and I think the other board probably feels like me. I can assure you this next year that if a principal is $500,000 in the hole, and when Rita and the superintendent's building those budgets, we're going to address it at the beginning of the year, and we sure as heck not going to wait till the middle of the semester. And as Chuck's pointed out, we just think we've fixed to have a problem, but when you start not offering classes that they've taken, they need it for a year long. Now, all of us can hold on. I mean, and you know, we're not criticizing anybody at this point, but I can promise you, I as one board member, we won't start school next year where I know that there's a school that's $600,000 in the hole. You know, that's something that we don't have to deal with.
But that's why we started this process yesterday, Mr. Walker. They're registering in January, and they understand that based on their course offerings. Now, if they want to roll their master schedule, which is crazy when you've had a drop in 500 students, you can't just roll your previous master schedule. Anybody's got a schedule realizes that. But now we're watching their course offerings. They can offer whatever they want as long as they close those classes in April or May for the next school year and don't offer them and have the kids pick another
and do what
elective.
Fort Walton Beach did.
Absolutely.
You know, I hate to say this, but now everybody should look at what they did. Now it's been very painful, but I mean, hey,
they made the cuts last summer.
They stripped to the bone.
I mean, tough decisions.
And they made some tough ones, not only with teachers, but they made them up and down the line with secretaries, bookkeepers, and everything. And you know, and truthfully, if you know, in the old days where we go bail one out, but it's not fair to Fort Walton Beach for us to say, you know, that's just not the way you run your business. And just like, you know, Karen, I'm very concerned as you are, but I'm even more concerned for like where Chuck made the point, and I hope that doesn't come to pass. But that's why I'm hearing the same thing you hearing, which you got it from your son, and I got it from other students. So, I mean, again, I hope that's not going to be the case.
Well, and we're not going to let that happen. The cuts will be made in May and June. As you said, they'll be painful, but they won't be in November and December. Well,
and just one last thing. I would just say that if, in fact, you end up having to bail, quote unquote, someone out, it's not an administrator. You're doing it for the students at that school. So
absolutely.
It's not their fault that somebody wasn't thinking ahead, whether it's all of us or whatever. And Ms. Frakes, thank you. It'll be a welcome bit of information that y'all will look at those numbers, and that I'm thinking that you also think, I won't say it, but that you do believe that class size is the law.